Get anybody else something? Well, I'm not used to seeing David Kobos on mute. That's kind of a nice feeling.
Just wait. I'm
Oh,
just wait.
oh.
I'm coming.
Oh no.
Commissioner Purdue, Randy,
Yes.
this is Liz. We're
yeah.
ITN testing it, so I wanted to double check that you could hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay.
Liz, did you see where Debbie Garza is? She's in San Francisco by the Golden Bridge.
I know I saw that. Should I
bet it's a lot cooler there.
should I put myself in front of my picture of the lion and then we can think I'm on a safari? Nice seeing you, Commissioner.
Likewise.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Andrew.
Good morning.
This will be an interesting meeting, logistically. I don't like the live mirror. Makes me feel self-conscious.
Okay, can everybody hear me now? It's now 9 o'clock Monday, July 13th, and this meeting is in order and open. If you would, if it's your turn to speak, please unmute yourself. Otherwise, if everybody could mute other than the commissioners, because we're hearing a lot of different backgrounds from different areas. But if you need to speak or want to speak, please unmute. We're doing this meeting because of COVID via Zoom, so I appreciate everybody being a part of it. First item, or number 2 on the agenda is to acknowledge monthly reports from JP 2 and 4.
All right, good morning, commissioners and Judge. You should have received a copy of our June report, both myself and Judge Barton. Cases are steadily coming in. We're backed up a little bit because of COVID-19, so we've got more pending cases than we normally would have. But on top of that, we have record number of citations being filed and record number of evictions and debt claim cases being filed because they were backed up. Now they're able to file those. We're just going to have to hear those in the order that they come, and we're going to continue to be busy. But it looks like revenue hasn't suffered that much because of the pandemic. We've got payments online and people are coming in and paying. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have about our monthly report.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And I'm going to ask again, guys, if we vote, just so I can get a visual real quick, raise our hands. I believe everybody was affirmative on that one. So motion passes. Thanks, sir. Item number 3, discuss and take action on court minute from June 22nd, 2020.
Yes, good morning. It's Allison. I'd just like to present the court minutes from June 22nd for your approval.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Item number 4, take action acknowledging personnel memoranda from Mitzi.
Motion to
Hi,
acknowledge.
everybody.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. Listen, I need to make one correction under transfers. Clarissa St. Augustine, that's actually a transfer from the district clerk's office to the county clerk's office, just a typo. Other than that, there's nothing out of the ordinary on this report.
Motion to acknowledge with correction, as Mitzi mentioned.
Thanks.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Item number 5, discuss take action on line item transfers. Do we have Veronica?
There.
Gone. Veronica?
Do you know if we have her or? Okay. Let me come back to, what's that?
It's a little early for her.
Oh,
You know, we don't get here till 10 after.
oh, okay. I'll come back to 5, 6, and 7 if that's okay. Number 8 is discuss take action on salaries for elected officials. And is there anybody who would like to start?
Well, Mitzi, do you want to explain what's going on with the examples that we added in?
I'm sorry. Y'all may have to remind me to unmute myself. Yes, sir, I sure can, if you need me to. Friday, I sent you a spreadsheet showing department heads' salaries, what they were before 10/1/19 and what they were after 10/1/19 and the increases that those were. And then I sent you the same thing on the elected officials, just so I know you don't see this every day, and I do, and it's just so you can get a visual of exactly what's going on here, and so that you know everything you ought to know. If there's anything else you need to ask me, I did actually go ahead and fill out the spreadsheet that I always do every year for Jenny that allows her to know and to publish in the paper the increase to publish. And when I do that, I get a total on the numbers of what it would cost for any kind of increase. So if we did an 8% increase across the board for elected officials, that increase in salary to publish is $187,400. Just like to remind everybody that may be listening that last year on October the 1st, 2019, all Midland County employees except for elected officials got an 8% raise. And all I'm doing this year is just requesting that to be fair and to let us have the same kind of increase that employees did a year ago. That's my only request.
And 187,480 is the difference.
And I'd like to add to that. 56,000 of that is if you increase the county court at law judges, which I don't believe I believe they probably could be increased that much, but their actual their actual salary depends on what district judges make. They are at 185,000 currently. And so,
and that's set by legislature, right?
it is. So 56,000 of that 187,000 I quoted you would increase theirs also. So if you subtract that out of that, that would be the total for everyone else to receive an 8% raise.
So 131,480 would be the.
I'm going to look at something right quick. I want to make sure I'm not lying to you. Don't need to do that, even if on Zoom. Yes, I was just checking my numbers to make sure they were at 185. They are. They are. My spreadsheet reads a little funny, but they are.
And some of the reasons that you're proposing this is because the deputy clerks, the second in charge. I know that we have this problem out at emergency management, that we have one that is paid more than is paid more than anyone else. I can't remember exactly what the discussion was on that, but
I think we have some problems at the DA's office also.
Yes, sir, we do. We do.
Judge Kobos, you have something to say?
Well, of course. Well, you know, I think I can speak, and I think I can speak for a lot of the elected officials. You know, we've been kind of silent about our salaries, but I think that it's time that you recognize the leadership that you have. We advocated for the 8% for all employees last year, and we got the 2001 time. We'll actually get a decrease in salary if you don't do anything, because that $2,000 was a one time and it ends at the end of September. And so I think I would consider that being a decrease in salary. But many of us have served the county faithfully. I mean, I've got 32 years, and many others. We've got a lot of good leadership, and I think it's time that the commissioners recognize that and follow through with Mitzi's proposal. On top of that, I want to thank Mitzi because throughout the years, she has done so much for the county employees and the elected officials. Her and the auditor, Veronica, have advocated for us and the employees, and they've just done a tremendous job. And I personally want to say thank you to you too for what you've done for the employees and for elected officials. But I would encourage the commissioners to seriously consider the proposal by Mitzi.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate you.
Hey, Veronica,
Yes, sir.
how's the budget looking for next year, in regards to this?
Again, next year we won't be highly impacted as far as property taxes because those are values based on the January 1st, 2020. I did send you guys sales tax numbers. Of course, our sales tax is not going to be as high for next year, but I think that if we budget correctly, especially with the judge asking for requests in the other departmental budgets, it may be something that is doable if the court wishes to do that.
What about the next year?
The next year might be an issue just because of property taxes. That'll be depending on how our economy does from now until then, that we might get highly impacted at that point in time. That's what I know.
Yeah, but again, for this next year, it's not going to it would not adversely harm the county.
For 2021, I don't know, sir. Like I said, our property taxes is based on the January 1st, 2020 values. So it wouldn't. The following year is when it may become an issue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Scott, one of the things that might put this in perspective is if we give the anniversary raises this year, it will impact it, Mitzi, about 500,000. Is that correct? Because this is the year that everybody started. So
That's if everybody stayed and everybody received it, which never happens, but that's worst case scenario.
And I just want to reinforce this. The elected officials don't get that anniversary raise. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. We do not. No, sir.
We do not.
Has the elected officials ever gotten these anniversary raises?
No.
No, sir. I tell you what we've done is what we would do is, employees get that every other year. And so in the past, what I would request from the court would be 4% every other year to keep us up. And for the most part, that happened. Because there was lots of years we got across the boards every year. And along with the cost of living, employees also got their anniversary steps. And so every year or every other year, I would try to make a proposal for electeds to keep us up.
And Mitzi, we looked at other counties and of comparable size, and did you get that out to everybody?
I don't remember right now who all I sent this to. I did after TAC came out with their salary survey. I'm sure the judges looked at it. I did a survey of about 10 counties or so. I tried to get really close to those with our population and those with our budget numbers and did a spreadsheet on those. I believe I sent that to everyone. That would have been at least the last court that was done
Yeah,
3 weeks ago.
you're right. It came in right before the last court.
And what does it show to be our, where are we in our, in our comparable situations?
Our salaries are comparable to them. We do have a couple that are lower than the average. Our constables have always been paid lower than most. So are the JPs. The rest of us are really comparable if we've been here a lot of years. The district clerk is below the, I'm sorry, I'm looking in the wrong column. The district clerk. We're all about the same. I mean, it's within a few $1,000s. It's hard to get an average. You know, it's hard to find a county that actually even compares with us in both population and budget. You can find one or the other, but it's hard to find both.
Mitzi, what are the name of the
tax revenue we do? Do what?
What are the name of the counties that you're comparing us to?
I compared with Bell, Brazos, Ector, Ellis, Guadalupe, Jefferson, Johnson, McLennan, Smith, and Webb. Bell and Jefferson's budget is the most closely related to our budget. Ellis, Guadalupe, and Johnson, their budgets are really lower than ours. And so their salaries are too, but their population is about the same.
I'm not against it if we can keep our personnel addition this year to the bare minimum. I think it would, you know, that's like 2 people around here. That's the salary, the 131,000 is equal to about 2 salaries. So I wouldn't be upset with this based upon our keeping our personnel at a minimum.
Robin, I think that's a great point. I think what happened last year was an injustice to, you know, the other elected officials when everybody else in the county got this tremendous raise. I think this might be the only way to rectify it.
Commissioner, when you say personnel at a minimum, what does that mean?
Well, what is essential to the operations that we've got currently? I mean, that's what I mean by pertinent, or because if we don't take on anything new at this point in time, then we have the situation that, you know, given a budget constraint, given the things we're doing right now, we're fulfilling the constitutional obligations that we've got. If we take on anything else, you know, that's an additional non-essential person to me.
Randy, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I would prefer that if, first of all, Mitzi and David and all the others are correct about the how inequitable it is to give the employees raises every year and not elected officials. However, this year, in my opinion, is not the year to give anybody a raise. anybody. And I think that all of our constituents, probably a quarter of them, or 10 to 20 or 30% of them have either lost their job or lost a lot of income. 40 or 50% of them are waiting for their companies to go bankrupt and be out of work. And they're living with their stomachs in knots every day. And I just think this is not the year to give raises to anybody. And I think what I would like to see is a signed letter from all the elected officials, because the commissioners will be the only ones to fall on the sword if we correct this injustice. I'd like to see a letter from all the elected officials asking for this with a statement of reason. And then I would be glad to consider that on behalf of my fellow elected officials. But anyway, my opinion is right now, we don't need to be giving any raises this year. I think it really screams to the people that we serve and who elected us of elitism. And although I'll go again and I'll say I agree 100% with what Mitzi and David are saying, and probably every elected official watching this meeting or not watching would agree that it's not right to give their employees raises every year, not them. They're 100% correct in that statement. I'd love to correct this next year, and that's my opinion.
Randy, would you continue the stipends that they put on here?
Robin, I don't, what? Tell me
that $2,000 that Judge Kobos talked about?
Well, I mean, I don't know that that's even been brought up this year, Robin, so I don't have an opinion about that, because I'm not sure that's on the table right now. If it is, I'd be glad to consider it.
Well, everything's on the table right now.
That's true.
Judge, what's your opinion on all this?
I agree a whole lot with a lot of things that Randy said. Right now just flies in the face of all the folks that we're here to serve. I myself have gone from about a 60-man operation down to a 20-man operation. There's no way. I mean, it's gut wrenching, hoping I'm in business this time next month. Our revenues are falling. I do see there is an injustice in the scales of some of the positions. I get it. I would like to see us address the pay system, the pay scale. Broad brush swipes all across the board, to me, is just an overreaction to correct. This is not a good year, in my opinion, to give raises. So that's just kind of where I'm at.
Well, I would suggest that we have one more court session before we have to publish these salaries. And I would suggest that we table this until the next court meeting, and that Randy can get his people to talk about it, and that we get some kind of response from the other elected officials about what we're doing on this. I just wanted to bring it up early enough that we talked about what was going on and where things are. So, I mean, that's kind of my thought process.
Luis, do you have any opinions about this subject?
Well, not really. I think the last time that we spoke about this, I thought that we were all in agreement that we were going to wait, felt that this year was not the right year to be doing any type of increase. Completely understand. I myself have been looking at other counties and comparing what we have towards them. We're really not that far off. One thing that I would hope, and something that we did speak about last time, is that the raise that we give every other year, for us to go back and look at it. I understand that it was something that needed to be done in the past. I don't know if that's sustainable anymore. If we continue to give a 4% increase every other year from here on out, how much is too much would be my question. The other thing is just even looking at some of the elected officials and the pay, and I'll be including us as commissioners, our numbers are low, and which is fine. I mean, we're here to serve, but there's also some numbers that are very high compared to other counties. What I would like to see is for us to really go back, come up with a way of doing a restart with a lot of elected officials. Because yes, we've got some of the officials that have been here 10, 20, 30 years, but we also have some elected officials that have been here less than 10 years. And we're continuing to give a lot of these big raises when there's really no experience behind it. Again, that's just my opinion. I think that this salary raise is something deeper than just a simple conversation like this. I think it's going to take a lot more time for us to really figure something out. But for me, because of what's going on, I would have to agree that this is not the right time to be giving any type of raise.
Well, would you include putting additional folks on? I mean, that would increase the salary fields as well.
Robin, it would depend on when you say putting certain folks on. I don't what those numbers are and who those people are. Is it something that we really need at this time as well? I'm open to look at everything that we've got, even if it says that we can't get any more personnel, then that's what needs to happen. If it's something that we feel that we do need to get some personnel, well, I don't know. It's going to be a case by case situation. So I'm open to anything, just like everybody else. I just don't feel right to vote on an increase, knowing what's going on around us. I mean, I'm out in the community all the time, and the stories that I hear from constituents, I mean, it's not good. I can't listen to a constituents are saying and then do something completely opposite. I mean, that would be foolish of me to do.
Okay. Well,
Listen, Robin,
Yes,
several months ago, I started this several months ago, and I sent a scenario to where where elected officials could be actually placed on a scale, to where there could be a beginning point for beginning electeds. And I've been willing to work on it any time. I've got no input. But I did send you a starting point just with some thoughts I had because I knew you were interested.
Lindsay, do you remember when you sent that out? I'll be honest with you. I don't remember receiving it. You might have sent it, but I don't remember getting it. I'm going through my email right now just in case I missed something.
that's easy. Can you send it out again, Mitzi, and let us look at it?
Yes, sir.
Mitzi, the logic behind that is really good, and I agree with the things Luis has said all along about this subject about new people versus people who've been here 20 years. One of the questions I have is that if we were to make an adjustment on that, though, would you be grandfathering people that are already here, or would you make would you want that to apply towards our current situation? For example, if we had a new commissioner that only had 2 years of experience this year and one that had 20, would you want that adjustment to take place even though they've already been working for a couple of years? And I'll ask that to the whole court as well.
You know, Randy, I understand the argument on that. That's why I done the work I done, trying to show you that we could make a beginning point for electeds. But I also know the argument that I hate to see somebody that don't know anything about anything run just running on the fact of I can save the county $20,000 if you'll elect me. We've got a lot of experience and people that even having a lot of experience or some experience that are really willing to work at it. And we've had new commissioners and whatnot start that were really willing to work at it and jump in at 100%. And so I was always able to see and new elected officials that jumped in with both feet, willing to work 100% every day. And so I've always understood the argument why they started where they did. When you have a new sheriff start with 200 and something people under him, no, he hasn't been sheriff for 35 years, but he's been a cop for 35, and he's still going to be supervising 200 and some odd people. And so I was always able to understand that argument also.
Right.
answer your question. I don't know all the answers, but I'm sure willing to work on it.
I think that's going to take a lot of input from the elected officials. I really do. I think you're right. I recall you sending that report out, and thank you for that. I will have to say that I did not put the time into it that would be necessary for you to do your job. We need to look at that.
Well, I'd like to see us come to some kind of agreement to get parity within our neighboring counties, both in size and budget and number of people. I also appreciate the comment that, and I've made it before, I started at what my predecessor got to in 12 years. I don't think that's a good way. I think there needs to be a starting point. There's the 4% every other year was to make up for injustices, in my understanding, from decades ago. I believe that's been done and done a long time ago, so that can be looked at. And in short, there's a lot to do to get this straightened out, and I don't think we can get it done before a court in the next 2 weeks when we have to make a decision. I would like to see all electeds as a group come together with all their ideas, and then the court take those ideas and put it into one policy and procedure and come up with a plan that works for not only electeds, but hopefully for all the employees of the county. I'd love to see merit somehow enter into it, because without that, I think you just bring everybody to one level, and we're all different. So those are just kind of my thoughts out there, and I'm just throwing out there.
Okay, I'll move to table this further discussion until the next court session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank y'all. Veronica, number 5.
Yes,
Discuss
sir.
and take action on line item transfers.
Yes, I just have 2 line item transfers to bring to your attention this morning. On page 15 of 24, line item transfer number 6929. And that is because it is moving money from the general fund building maintenance into the capital project fund under Gratitude Square, 8,506. Its description says funds to cover blast and paint ironwork for Veterans Memorial. So that because it is moving from the general fund into the building maintenance into the capital project fund, I'm bringing that to your attention. Also on page 22 of 24, line item transfers 7,010. It is moving money from the facilities building maintenance into the horseshoe vehicle maintenance account. And it just indicates it's funds to cover vector invoice. And those are my 2 exceptions that I have for you this morning, unless you have any other questions.
Is there any more detail on maintenance? Or is it just that
On
all
the
you
vehicle maintenance, there is not.
have? Okay.
But if you wish, we can hold that one and get a better explanation on it. It's up to the court.
I'm okay.
Motion to approve all line item transfers.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 6, discuss take action on bills and wire transfers.
Some wire transfers for your consideration this morning. They are for the district clerk court account, $118 deposited in general pool cash account in error. I also have another one for the district clerk registry account, $200 deposited in general pool cash account in error. They're requesting that these be approved for transfer back to their respective accounts. I do have some exceptions to the bills this morning. I have one out of the drug court, A1 Graphics, $1,397.60. And I think there was a partial PO completed for this, for some uniforms, but there was also some, let me look really quick. Some backpacks and some bags that were had the logo on it that were also purchased that there was no PO on. An explanation was provided from court administrator for the drug court. And so there was partial on that that didn't have a PO, so that's why I'm bringing it to your attention. I also have 2 invoices from Warren Cat for facilities that do not have POs. One is for $1,395.50 and the other is for $1,584.52. Explanation that I do have indicates these Warren Cat invoices need to be expensed. No purchase order was done because John with Vector contacts Warren Cat regarding generators, and I was not told that a purchase order was needed. That is the same explanation that's provided on both of those. They weren't given the information in order to properly complete POs. That is all I have in regards to exceptions for the bills this morning.
Motion to pay all.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 7, discuss take action on April 2020 financial statements. We can't hear you, bro. There you go.
Hear me? Okay. If you'll look at the letter that is included, the second page of the report is an income statement, which is what I want to kind of review with you. Total revenues to date we received is $78,603,000, and total expenses as of the end of April was $46,410,000. That's net income of $32,192,000, and so I think we're in a good place right now in that regards. I did send out to you also on Friday the report on the sales tax and what it's doing. Looks like we had a 37% decrease in sales tax from the same month this year, last year. From last year to this year, the same month, there was a 37% decrease. So that's kind of where we're at. I think last month we had like a 34% decrease, and this month we had a 37% decrease.
Hey, Veronica, what was our budgeted sales tax for this fiscal year?
$44 million.
44 million. Do you think we'll make it?
Barely, but I think we will. Thing about it is last year for the 29 fiscal year, we received $63 million. And this year, I think we will barely get to our prediction of $44 million, which is a great reduction from the previous year revenue and sales tax.
Just so we make our budgeted.
Yes.
That's
yes, sir.
what matters.
Yes, sir. So that's what I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Motion to approve the 2020, April 2020 financial statements.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you. Now on to item number 9, discuss take action selecting members of the Salary Grievance Committee. And Russell, it's my understanding that, does the court decide the number of folks, or is this?
So, Judge, we usually do this in 2 parts. First, the court needs to decide whether you want to do all public members or a combination of elected officials and public members. We have done public members every year for the last, I don't remember how many years. I only remember one time we ever did a combination, but the first, that is the first vote, whether or not to do all public members or a combination. And then after that, once that decision is made, then Judge, you choose the names out of the container.
Okay.
Just like to mention that there's 128 names in the container.
I'll start the motion out by recommending that we continue with traditional method of all public members.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And then Russell, again, if I can ask you, or maybe Allison, how many did we choose last year? 27? Is that correct?
Yes.
And we weren't.
And it
able-
wasn't enough. And my concern with COVID and everything, I really think you need to either double that or triple maybe. I don't know if you want to consider pulling all names, but there are 128 to choose from.
And Judge, you can do all the names first. The first step though is to take out the first 9 who will be the members, and then everybody else that you choose will be the alternate.
Okay. So for me to try to ensure enough folks and use all the names, I've got to read 120 something names. Is that correct?
Well, I would definitely do more than the 27 if you'd like to double, just because not very many, this is all volunteer. They don't have to show
Right.
up. They're allowed to just just not show up.
And Judge, I believe that last year with the 27 names, we had were there 3 or 4 that showed up, Allison?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was it. Very, very small amount. And I believe it'll be even harder this year with everything that's going on.
I would suggest keeping the entire jar full of people as your pool.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and draw the first 9. Those will be the panel. Adrian Lay Lodge, Christy Ann Valero, Brenda Wallace, Sarah Elizabeth Hanks, Robert Latrell Smith Jr., Tinley Ann Villa, Nathan Daniel Holder, Corey J. Elliott, Robert Irwin Simmons. I believe that's the first 9.
Yes.
Okay, I'm counting 9. So I'm just going to read the rest of them to be alternates. Juvenile Sanchez Jr., Ashley Kristen McAlpin, Lagatha Dan Llewellyn, Linda Rodriguez Cineros, Lori Lynn Klepper, Larry Wayne Mays, Kimberly Lynn Bates, Amanda Marie Milam, Michelle Hinojos, Daryl J. Greenfield, Christopher Douglas Gunn, Guynn, Michael Lee Midwell, Vicki Diane Vickers, Christy Lynn Phillips, Sherry M. Delgado, Michael Steve Johnson, Alex Brooke Calhoun, Lillian Iza,
Judge, you got muted. There you go.
Okay. We've already thrown them in. Did you get them,
I got,
Allison?
last one I have is Lillian A.
Okay. Lillian IZA and, uh-oh. Okay, Morgan ZANAE Holly. Brian Patrick Gillette. Kelsey Michelle Lane. Devin Michael Mick. Jimmy Lee Wynn, WYNNE. Mickey James Doherty. Lauren Delane Rivas. Victor CHUKWYEM Edwards. Jonathan Lee Hanna. Tyler Wade Wolf. Patricia Kenneth Worrell, WORRELL. Stuart Grant Schulz. Fidel CAVAZOS. Villanueva the third. Mark Mladenka. Valerie Hernandez. Karen Linnell Rowland. Melissa Alice Taylor. Mackenzie Lynn Stubbs. Daryl WAYN Chamblee, CHAMBLEE. Catalina Elizabeth Jones. John Jeffrey Pulley. Alejandro Correte Jr. Veronica Jean MONTOYACENDENO. Charles Dwayne Gonzalez. Joseph Daniel Villarreal. Socorro Morales. Dale Allen Dawson. Richard Allen Miller. Jonathan Blair Rush, RUSCH. Taylor Alyssa Matthews. Michael E. Thomas Sr. Roger Patrick Hall. Kay Lynn MUNCRIEF. Donald Joseph Robertson. Lori Ann Smith. Kathy Joan Porter. Trent Jameson Tidwell. Dale Douglas Henry. Barbara Lynn, WROE, Rowe. Charlotte Ann Glenn. Mallory Page Stedman. James Lyle Crane. Barbara VENTOLINI. Maria Isabel Martinez. Ryan McKenzie Mallard, James Harrison Copenhaver, Alexis Nicole Vines, Jean, Magerkurth, Britt, Gerald C. Boruff, Stephen Richard Geddes, Ruby Brianna Laredo, Dorothy Dunnan Moore, Louis Burns, Kyle Anthony Walker, Ariana Perez, Michael R. Moore, Gabriel William Garcia, Carlos Andres Flores, Connie Miriam Glinsmann, Janie Flemings Long, Kyle Scott Nelson, Susan Margaret Thomas, Blake Weston Maddox, Margaret Hendricks, Justin Ward Hanson, Benjamin Joel McCandless, Mckandles, Terry Lynn Bippert, Bippert, Shirley Sandra Saxon, Nathan Edward Duke, Joseph Michael Kelly, Laura Renee, Reneereyna, Christy Michelle Eisenberg, Antonio Ramirez Jr., Wesley Neal Thomas, Robert Louis Evans, Melissa Garcia, Antonio Heredia, Heredia, Elton Brian Brownlee, Stephen Clark Shear, Schear, Bradley Don Allison, Lorena S. Zertucci, Jordan Elijah Snodgrass, Michelle Lynn Wagner, Catherine Bronner Williamson, Amy Melinda Ice, Teresa Jane Pettit, Abigail Silvas Hernandez, Thomas Eugene London, Ishmael Rivera Romero, Marianne Permenter, Permenter, Stephanie Jessen, Jessen, Migrant, Mygrant, Lee Blake Santa Maria, Alan Arturo Baleja, Alberto Lee Choya, Kylie Kekoa, Kekoa Johnston, Carolyn Jean Beal, J. Walter John Kroll Jr., Jeremy Mack Bishop, Glenda Cheryl Haskell, Gerald Waiti Maybell Mabele, Robert Bindley Henderson. That was the last one. So do we vote on that, Russell, or is that done? You're muted, Russell.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yeah, I think just a motion to acknowledge would be sufficient.
Okay.
Motion to acknowledge
Second.
names for the salary grievance committee.
Randy seconded. All in favor, say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 10, conduct public hearing on county clerk's records archive plan as per local government code section 118.025. Is there anyone wanting to speak on that?
Judge, just to let you know, we had no members of the public request to speak on any of these public hearings.
Okay, then in that case, we'll move on to item 11. Discuss, take action on county clerk's records archive plan as per local government code section 118.025.
Yes, again, good morning. So this is the records archive plan for fiscal year 2020, 2021. And I would like for the court to adopt a $10 records archive fee for me to assess on everything that's recorded or filed in the county clerk's office as provided by the local government code 118.025. And with this money, I'll use this to preserve and restore the public records.
Allison, you're saying that you do not have that fee at this particular time?
Yes, no, this is a continuation. We've been doing it for many years now.
Yeah, I thought so. Almost every county
Yes, sir.
has it. So I'm going to make the motion to approve the county clerk's records archive plan as per local government code section 118.025.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Item number 12 is conduct public hearing on district court's technology fund to fund the preservation and restoration of the district clerk records. And Jenny, nobody's wanting to speak on that, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And we'll move on to item 13. Discuss, take action on district court's technology fund to fund the preservation and restoration of the district clerk's records. Lex.
Yes. Good morning, Your Honor and distinguished commissioners on the court. Bring before you a plan for the Texas Government Code of 51.305, which provides for district courts records technology and archive fund. I think that you received a document there, and it just on it references sections A and B. A provides the definitions of court documents, the deterioration, preservation, restoration. And the district clerk would like to respectfully request that the Commissioners Court adopt a district court's records archive fee of not greater than $10 for the filing of suits and appeals from inferior courts or cross-action counterclaims, etc. This fee must be set and itemized in the Midland County's budget as part of the budget preservation. And again, we are asking that the court once again adopt this technology fund for preservation and restoration. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to entertain that.
Again, same thing as Allison. This is a continuation of the fees you've been charging in the past.
That is correct, sir.
Well, I'll make the motion to take action on the district Courts Technology Fund to fund the preservation and restoration of the district clerk's records.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Item number 14, discuss take action on application for interlibrary loan lending reimbursement program and authorized signature.
Judge,
morning.
gentlemen of the court. Wish you were here with me in San Francisco.
Yeah.
This is an agreement for a reimbursement grant that we need to sign. We have applied for it in the past, and last year we were reimbursed $7,560 through this program. It's for our interlibrary loan lending program that we have at the library, where we lend items to other libraries in the state. And we can receive a reimbursement for to offset our courier costs, our postage for that.
Motion to approve the application for interlibrary loan lending reimbursement program and authorize county judge to sign.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item number 15, discuss take action on donation in the amount of $1,760.93 Midland Reading Council.
Okay, this is a check that we received from the Midland Reading Council when it was written in their bylaws that if they were dissolved as an organization, that any funds that remained in their account would be donated to the library. So upon their dissolution, we received this check in the amount of $1,760.93.
Motion to approve the donation of $1,760.93 from the Midland Reading Council.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And then item 16, acknowledge library donations.
The library donations we have this month are for about 16 books for our young adult sections, and then one adult book. They total about $177 in value, and we add these to the collection upon your approval.
Motion to acknowledge library donations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, item 17, discuss take action on use of horseshoe for library youth programs on July 16th and 29th, 2020. Joe?
Debbie, you want to go ahead and take this?
There he is, I think.
Yes, Judge, can you hear me?
Yes.
The library has asked to use our education room 2 different days for 2 performances each day. They want to bring kids out for a program. In the education room, they'll be able to space the kids out accordingly, 6 feet apart based on social distancing, as opposed to using the library, was their request. And maybe our librarian can explain a little more about the program itself.
Yes, the 2 programs that we have, one is for July 16th and the other one is July 29th. We received a grant from the Texas Commission on the Arts to bring in, excuse me, 2 different programs. One is Kim Lehman who is a storyteller out of Austin, and then Hideout Theater, and that I believe they are also out of Austin. But we wanted to do an in-person performance with these storytellers because they do offer dynamic programs, and we feel like using social distancing and then wearing the mask would be fine at the Horseshoe Arena. We don't have the space at the library, and because it's a grant, we have to pay the performers regardless of whether they're in person or through Zoom.
Well, I'll make the motion to use the Horseshoe for the library youth programs on July 16th and 29th and 19th. No, sorry, July 16th and 29th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You bet. Item 18 is discuss take action on safety personnel.
This is Liz. I believe Judge Gillis is on the line, and Judge Gillis was going to present the gentleman that we're going to come on board or are going to come on board as the paramedics have requested the salary to be higher. And Judge Gillis, are you on? Okay, I guess he is. And so we've moved forward with this project. The HR manager from the city has provided dates of the recent background checks. So we will be saving money by not doing background checks. We are going to go ahead and send the paramedics to do a drug test. So now we just need permission from the court. The fee that the paramedics charge when it's on a outside of the city is $50. So we are requesting for it to go from $40 to $50. It was approved at the last session.
These are the guys that are supposed to be taking like temperature checks and all that. Is that right?
Yes, and these will be the gentlemen. They will be the paramedics that they can go a step further if they need to. Let's say if they see you sweaty, things of that nature, they actually have that in line where they can go in and go deeper.
And my understanding is that this is something that we have to do. We really don't have any choice, right?
Yes, Judge, that's why Judge Gillis and I had discussed it this morning, and he was come in because it's an actual order that has come down from the Texas Supreme Court. I believe Judge Terry, that's what it was stated, correct, in the beginning?
Yes, this is something for us to open the courts up. We need to do, plus we're also being required to do. So allowing the courthouse security to deal with the courthouse and the security, and then that not being part of that, but an element we have to add, bringing in medical personnel to not only just monitor the temperatures of the folks coming in, but to make records of it and to also take it to another step if needed. Not everybody that comes in is going to say they're sick. We need to be diligent.
Exactly. And we've already got a list that I'm ready to move on. Judge Gillis and myself talked this morning. So the list is ready so that I can get it, do the PAFs and send it to Mitzi. And these gentlemen, Victor from the actual fire department, can't recall his last name at this moment, I apologize. But they've been ready to just come on and start the go do their drug test, and they're really ready to start.
And they're part-time individuals, right?
Yes, sir.
Part-time employees?
Yes, sir.
Is it up to 30 hours?
Up to 30, yeah. Judge, really, it's been Judge Gillis and Alan, God, I can't think of Alan. Alan's the one that, and Alan and I have been the ones, and they do know that, yes, it's 30, no more than 30 hours.
His last name is Kilgore.
Kilgore, thank you, Mitzi, I apologize. Alan, are you on the line? I'm not too sure if Alan's on either. But yes, but we're ready to move forward just to submit the PAFs now upon the court's approval at the rate of $50.
I'll go ahead and make that motion that we implement the safety personnel and change it from $40 to be increased to $50 an hour, effective immediately.
And I'll second that. When is this supposed to take effect?
As soon as I can get them in, Commissioner Donnelly, to go in and take the drug test, the drug results, usually I get them that afternoon or the
Well,
next
when
day.
is the OCA supposed to open up the courthouse back to having court?
Isn't it August 1st?
Yes, I think that's the date that they're trying to get it, yes.
I believe they've now moved it to September 1st.
Oh, it
They
has
did.
been moved?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Veronica.
Are we gonna need these people before that date?
I will double check, Commissioner, with Judge Gillis and Allen to double check, but I know that Judge Gillis had stated that we are behind. And so I had told him that we could not do anything until we got y'all's approval. So I'll double check with him, but I was under the impression that he wanted, we were behind the date that they had given to the court. And I believe we're trying to start them as soon as their drug tests or results are back. But I'll double check for you.
Okay.
And if I could, Justin, are you where we can visit with you a second?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Is this something that could be possibly applied for, partial reimbursement or?
Yes, it'll fall under the CARES reimbursement grant that we've gotten. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
And then also increasing that price, Judge, is going to cause us to need additional funds. I believe what was transferred in to make that payment was $60,000, and calculating that number, it's more like a $64,000. So we just need an additional $4,000.
Is that something we could do down the road, or we need to do it right now? Well, we can't.
You can do it down the road if you wish.
Okay, but you're, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Are we good? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll be reporting to Judge Gillis the outcome.
Item 19, discuss take action on memorandum of understanding with Texas Department of Public Safety.
Yes, this is an MOU, Commission Court and Judge, that you had already signed back on April 27th, but apparently there's page 2 of the actual MOU. I had only checked box number 1 at the time, and the young lady was kind enough to call me back and let me know that really it needed to be 2 and 10. So by that being said, I made the corrections, and now I'll give a new date of signature as being today. And that is the only thing. And then on the last page, page 7, they wanted me to include under type of driver records to be released, CDR. They wanted that specific acronym to state contractor driver records, so that's how we can get these records. And those were the only 2 things that I had lacked on the first one. So she was kind enough for me to resend it, and I just need Judge's re-signature on this MOU.
Motion to authorize the county judge to sign the MOU with the DMV.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be up to take it to you a little later, Your Honor, County Judge.
Okay, thanks. Item number 20, discuss take action on renewal of ES&S maintenance agreement. Carolyn, are you with us? Carolyn Graves. There you are. Hey, Carolyn, can you hear us? Let's see where she clicked her mute off. Carolyn Graves.
Well, I'd like to go ahead and make the motion that we approve the First Amendment agreement to the ES&S agreement for a 3-year period commencing October 28th, 2020. I'm assuming that Russell's already reviewed the primary document on this and everything's good to go.
Second.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you. Item number 21, discuss take action on job description and pay grade change from administrative assistant in the emergency management department. Justin.
Yes, sir. I bring this up because, as you know, Cece's going to be leaving us here at the end of the month to get a job with the FBI, and she actually is the one who suggested we come up with this. In our office, an administrative assistant alone really doesn't do much. They do a lot more, and this new job description goes more in line with what Cece's actually doing in her current position. So what we're looking at or asking to do is, with this change of job description, there's a lot more responsibilities, a lot more specialized stuff we're looking at this person doing. One of the big things is grant management. So we're looking to apply for more grants. We've gotten back in the EMPG program, all the COVID grants that we've got going. I'm really needing somebody that can work these grants, apply for them, and manage them for me. If you've seen in my emails, I'm not a master of the quill, and the written word's not my strong point. The other responsibilities we're adding is a lot more emergency management stuff to assist with the emergency management operations, mainly for when I'm gone or if we need additional help. Because right now we don't have anybody that's really trained up to where I am in emergency management operations. And with that increase in emergency management skill sets, we can apply more of that salary percentage towards the EMPG and get some of that money back. The current position, that administrative assistant, is at a 16, and we're asking that we move it up to a 19 with the change in job description. And what we used as a guide for that is we had HR search the job descriptions in the county for grant management, and I believe we only found one, and that was in the library section, and they started out as a pay grade 21, but we're just asking for a bump to 19. And currently this year, when CC leaves and we hire somebody, if we do bump it up, I have the money in the budget to cover that, so I won't need any additional funding this year.
I'll make the motion to approve the pay grade change for administrative assistant in emergency management to a 19-1.
Let me ask a quick question. Where are you going to find this person that you're going to get? I mean, you've got grant, and then you've got, you're going to have to get them trained up in emergency management. Is that correct?
Yes, the emergency management, that'll be easy for me to train up on. The grant management is a skill set that I'm really looking for them to have before they come to us. Most of the training for emergency management is free through FEMA. The schools and stuff we go to are free, other than lodging and travel. So there's not a huge expense on the emergency management training.
And what's the status with Rusty right now?
He is about to finish his fire investigation course. He passed the final exam, so now he's got to do a skill set once they open that up because of COVID. And then he'll have to take his state exam. Then he'll be a certified arson investigator. Because I've got help with Rusty on the fire side of it, but like I said, he's been focusing on arson investigation. I'd like for him to continue that so he can hone his skills on that and not have to worry about trying to double train on emergency management and fire investigation at the same time.
And what's the difference in cost of this individual?
Let me see, I pulled that up. The difference in the salary per year is $7,697.61 would be the difference.
Justin, would it just be effective with the new hire?
Yes, it wouldn't be effective until CC left and we hired someone new.
Where is CC at now? What's her pay?
She is at a 16.1, which is 48,834 and 98 cents.
I'll modify my motion to include that this becomes effective with at the time of the new hire.
Commissioner, could you just restate the motion in full for me since there was a lot of discussion in there?
Yes, be glad to make a motion to approve the pay grade change for administrative assistant in the emergency management department from a 16.1 to a 19.1 effective with the new hire.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion, anybody opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Item number 22, discuss take action on fleet accidents.
I provided in the backup the new form that Ken has developed, the monthly accident damage report. So that gives all the information on each fleet accident that we had in the previous month. So unless there's any other questions, I'm not going to go through each and every one of them unless there's a specific question.
Thanks for doing this, Justin.
Yes, no problem.
So
Ken's
good.
been doing a heck of a job for us. So
I'll make a motion that we approve the fleet accidents.
Well, I don't want to approve the fleet accidents, but I'll certainly second the acknowledgement.
So does the motion need to change, Allison? To acknowledge the fleet accidents?
That's up to the person that made the motion. Was motion to approve the fleet accidents.
Well, it's written as discuss and take action on, but I'll go ahead and say what the commissioner was saying. I'll go ahead and acknowledge the fleet accidents.
Thanks, Luis. Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, Jenny, I need you to chime in here. Is there, which item needs to wait until 11? Is it listed?
The sheriff's item, and it's on the addendum, which is in your backup. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
and
so-
Andy
okay.
Atlin is our next item for number 23, and I have him on the phone. So
Okay. So I'm jumping all the sheriffs until 11?
not until 11, that's correct.
Okay. So where's Andy's?
Number 23, which is the next item.
Oh, I was getting ahead of myself. Okay. 23, discuss take action on budget amendment for COVID-19 supplemental grant. Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, because you got sheriff written here, so I'm, okay, all right, never mind.
Andy, are you with us?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What we're asking is, good morning. How y'all doing this morning?
Great.
What we're asking is to amend our budget for a couple line items so we can start purchasing stuff through that COVID-19 grant we got from the DOJ.
How much was that grant?
It was 58,000 and some change. I believe it was $58,008.
Okay, and you're going to be using it for janitorial supplies and equipment and furniture?
Well, equipment. We're going to purchase some of those, what are those machines called, those disinfectant sprayers. Clorox Total 360s, and then plus some PPEs.
Where are those sprayers going to be used?
We're going to have one for the jail, one for the sheriff's office, and then I'm purchasing one here so we could use in our holdovers at the courthouse.
Well, I'll make the motion to amend the budget for the COVID-19 supplement grant.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now.
Thank you,
now,
gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Now, Jenny, do I skip to 38? Is that correct?
Item 38, yes, that is correct.
Item 38, acknowledge receipt of the county inventory pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262.011.
Yes, sir. I emailed this to everyone on July 1st. And it's all the capital assets. Some are still pending, some are already recorded.
Motion to acknowledge receipt of county inventory.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 39, discuss take action going out for RFP for library storage building.
Yes, sir. This was originally bid out in December of 2018. However, there were no funds budgeted. The funds are now budgeted this year. And we did put this RFP out previously. We think we can get a better price. We did speak to a couple of local metal building construction companies, and they are interested in bidding on this project.
Motion to approve going out for RFP for the library storage building.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 40, discuss take action on new water well at cemetery.
Okay. I'll let you know what I know about this, and then Tim has a little bit to say about it also. So I'm to understand that the current water well that's at the home across the street from the cemetery, there's issues with the water well and the electrical. We have a quote from J&W Well Services in the amount of $8,373 to drill a new water well that's actually on the cemetery's property. There are no funds budgeted for this project.
How are we
Tim, go ahead.
using this lady's water well?
We actually own the house. We bought the house so that we could have the water well.
That water well was very prolific. What, are we abandoning it or?
Well, one of the problems we have right now is the line going under the street is now leaking and causing damage to the street. So it's fixing to be incumbent on the county to not only repair, which is going to be expensive, that line, but we also get to repair the street now. So the idea is to drill a well on the cemetery property to get away from that issue. And the chances are real good the same amount of water exists just right across the street in the cemetery. It's very shallow water, is my understanding, less than 30 feet.
Okay.
Does that all that sound right, Christy?
Yes, I know that Tim, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We had TRS come out and run a camera down the line from the water well toward the cemetery. We had thought maybe they'd be able to put a liner in it like they did under the courthouse when that line started leaking, but if the line under the road is fractured and crushed, so they can't get a line through there to repair it. The only alternative is either to dig up A Street and put a new line or bore under it. We got a price to bore, which is, if they hit rock, which they might, it was $20,000 on the high end. It would be $18,000 if they don't hit rock. So the other alternative is to drill a couple of wells over on the other side. The problem that might come up is we were told in the past, the reason we bought the house and well, we were told in the past that running along A Street, there is a wall or a fissure, if you will, that the water on the west side of A is a lot more prolific than the water on the east side. So that's why we bought the house and that well. The gentleman that's going to drill the well said he can drill one down to 100 feet on the east side, and he assumes it will be it'll be a good well. It just won't be quite as good as the one on the west side. But for the price, we could probably drill 2 and have 3 wells on the east side inside the cemetery that would probably make up for that one on the west side if we had to. The other problem is we're not sure what damage has been done under the road by the leak because the water was coming up through A Street. That's how they realized it was leaking. So there may be we may have washed a cavern out underneath there, but we don't know.
I'll make the motion to drill a new water well at the cemetery.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Do we need to specify where that money's coming from for that?
Yes.
I will include in my motion from contingency.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Does that cover
I'm
it?
sorry, that's fine. There was just no amount. Does that matter? I don't know. Okay.
We need an amount.
Okay, yeah, in the amendment, we should put an amount.
I will include in my motion up to $10,000.
Okay, for the court's information, we have a bid for $8,373 for the well.
Right.
So 10,000 will more than cover it.
So Tim, is that for the well, pump, everything getting water to the
That's for the
surface?
well. Yes, I don't know whether you got backup on that or not, Christy. Did you send that to them?
I did send the JWL well services quote that has the 8,373.
Yes, that includes the well drilled to 100 feet, 400 feet of pipe to move the pump from the well that's not working over and put it in that one. We're going to reuse it because we just had it put in about 6 months ago.
Okay.
Are we going to need?
Okay.
Are we going to need any electrical?
That includes electrical. That includes hooking it up and everything.
Okay.
So Veronica, were you going to say something about where the money was coming from?
No, contingency is fine. I just needed to know an amount, and I think Allison already asked the question. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, okay. So are we good with the project and the amount and where the money's coming from? Motion wise, Allison?
Yes, the motion is fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay, all right. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank y'all.
Thank
Item
you.
Item 41, discuss sandblasting and painting ironwork at Veterans Memorial.
Okay. This was not budgeted as it was not part of the original design, but it is decided that it will make the steel look better. And there are no funds budgeted for this project. but facilities has submitted a line item transfer to cover these costs. We have a quote from Luna's Tank in the amount of $8,506.
And Russell, can I ask a legal question? The way it's written, it says discuss and sandblasting. I'm going to assume it meant and take action. Are we able to vote on taking action?
Judge, I think this is fine. We can take action.
Okay, all right, okay.
I'll make the motion that we approve the sandblasting and painting of the Veterans Memorial.
Okay, Christy, if I could ask a question right quick. Christy, where was the money coming from?
It is coming out of facilities did a line item transfer. I believe it was one that Veronica had called out just previously.
Okay.
And I can go look real quick.
It's out of the building maintenance line.
Okay.
Out of the
good.
building maintenance line.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Judge, I have a question for you on that. Did we ever get the cement, the problem we had last year? Did we ever get that fixed?
The retaining wall for the.
Yes. Yes.
I saw them out there working. It looked to me like they put an angle iron edge around it.
I can speak to that if you'd like.
Yes.
Yes, the granite people said that the concrete that was poured was not straight enough for them to hang their granite slabs on, because they couldn't guarantee that they wouldn't break if they attached it directly to the concrete. So MW went back in there and put in angle iron bracing there. It's all level and straight for them to put the granite on. So it's been fixed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we're done with 41, correct? Item 42 is discuss take action on boiler repair at the Sheriff's Office detention.
Yes, sir. I'm to understand there's a leak in the boiler by the nurse's office, and we have a quote from Drainmaster's 24-hour plumbing service in the amount of $5,500 to come in and repair the leak with minimal disruption in that area.
Motion to approve the boiler repair at SO detention.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 43.
Sorry, Judge, is that a budgeted item, Christy?
It's not budgeted for, but yes, they do have the funds.
Discuss, 43, discuss take action on plumbing repair at Culver.
There is a line that's completely blocked, and a piece of concrete needs to be cut so they can unclog the line and replace the line under the west wing of the center door at Culver. We have a quote from Drainmaster's 24-hour plumbing service in the amount of $12,500, and they said there's going to be some disruption in that area. It's not budgeted for per se, but we do have the funds for that.
Have arrangements been made to coordinate with Forrest about this item?
I do believe so.
I've talked with Forrest about it, and it's in the their max cell. I guess they're wanting to use them now for quarantine cells, and he's wanting very much to get this done. So this is the last thing that's going to keep them from being able to use it. They found this blockage in the middle of the floor. We've already repaired all the other parts to this. We're just waiting to get that repaired so that it'll start working.
And Tim, what would be the source of the funds on this one?
We take it out of maintenance.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve the plumbing repair at Culver to be taken out of maintenance.
Second.
Was there a second? I'm sorry, I was looking down. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 44, discuss take action on purchase of cushions for the 5th and 10th floor courtroom.
Yes, these are for the new courtrooms. They're the same cushions as in the other courtrooms. We have a quote from L&J Designs in the amount of $14,812. That is $7,878 for the 5th floor and $6,534 for the 10th floor, plus $400 freight and installation charge. We do have the funds. We did do a line item transfer to move those into the appropriate line, which is the equipment and furnishing under capital projects.
Motion to purchase bench cushions.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 45, discuss take action on XTO Cleachy donation.
Yes, we have Ruben on the line with us.
Good morning, gentlemen. I have over on East County Road 320. We had XTO pull out 7 rigs, and the road was torn up. XTO had said they would donate caliche from one of their pits close by. In working with the paperwork, XTO has now been purchased by Exxon, so they want legal paperwork done, and I had sent it to Russell. In that, they had an indemnity clause in there that Russell decided to change up, delete that. They did not want to do away with that, so Russell worked on it and sent it to me. I resent it to them. I still have not heard from them, so I'm going to have to table this until I do hear if they're going to accept it or not.
Before we move on, they're going to give us the caliche to repair the road that they tore up?
Yes, that was the intention. But in their legal document that the judge needed to sign for the donation, they had a liability and an indemnity clause in there.
Hey, Ruben, I understand that part, but they're going to give us the caliche to repair the road that they tore up, and the county's going to pay to repair it?
Yes, they were going to donate the caliche, and we were going to use our equipment to blade it.
Russell?
Yes.
What's your feeling about that? About XTO getting out of repairing roads that they tore up?
Well, what did they do to tear up the road? Was it just through normal use of the road or something beyond that?
Well,
no, it was just
7 rigs out, so it was extraordinary movement of rigs.
Well, did they do anything that that they're not legally allowed to do? I mean, the fact that their use of the road destroyed it, if it was a valid legal use of the road, then we cannot hold them liable for it.
Well, I think that the problem is that they moved those rigs out, and depending on the weight of those rigs, they may have been an oversized load that brought it out, because those roads are not, they have a legal limit that they can use 80,000 pounds to move those loads in and out of.
Correct. So, and I do not have the information. All I knew was that we were trying to get the caliche, so I can get together with Ruben and get more information and see if there's anything we can do based on the facts I have. I don't know of anything, but if I can get more facts, that's possibly something we could do.
Okay. Shall we table it?
Yes. Table it. Okay, well, table number 45. Go on to 46, discuss take action on replat of lots 29 through 34, block 11, Ridgewood subdivision, a subdivision of 2.16 acres in section 15, block 41, T2S TMP RW County Survey, Midland County, Texas. Andrew, did you write that as an engineer?
Any engineer did. I did not.
It's written by Odessa. It's in the city of Odessa, ETJ, which is somewhat rare for us to have a plat in that combined regulatory zone. So everything's clean and clear. We had Dunaway take a look at it. There were no additional comments. It's basically Odessa ETJ regulation.
I'll make the motion to approve the replat of lots 29 through 34, block 11, Ridgewood subdivision, a subdivision of 2.16 acres in section 15, block 41, township 2 south, TMP Railroad Company survey, Midland County, Texas.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 47, discuss take action on a resolution accepting the CTIP grant.
You want to take this, Andrew?
Sure. So as you all are aware, we applied for approximately $18 million in reimbursement grant money from the state of Texas for roadway construction and associated activities. We did get confirmation of approval for more than 18 million. It's in the $23 million range. So we have a couple actions on this agenda regarding that. This one being just acknowledging that we received it.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
Does the motion need to say what we're accepting, acknowledging?
Well, I can do that. I would make the motion that we acknowledge acceptance of a grant of $23,601,086.20 in reimbursable funds under the County Infrastructure Fund grant.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item 48, discuss take action authorizing the county judge to sign CTIP grant agreement with TxDOT.
So this is the first action in managing the grant and receiving the reimbursement is to have this court resolution and assign signatory power. We did a piece of that a couple weeks ago, putting the Director of Public Works as a secondary signer. This is basically a more formal document stating the same.
Part of the CTIP agreement is that resolution that I guess we're going to do at 49. But I would make the motion that we approve the signing of the agreement with TxDOT by the county judge.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 49, discuss take action on LOSA agreement for TxDOT.
So this is a direct agreement with TxDOT, in particular the Odessa district. Our proposed County Road 1232, we would call it phase 3, which would be from a County Road 1160 east to State Highway 158. That's our project. Again, County Road 1232 phase 3 that has not been let out yet. Its intersection with State Highway 158 requires an agreement with the state to one, intersect the state highway, sort of like a driveway permit. But two, State Highway 158 has to be improved to some degree in order to receive the intersection. So the agreement is the agenda item is to assign the agreement with the state in order to do that.
This is a requirement by TxDOT for us to get a quote driveway permit on 158. And I'm surprised we didn't have to do it on 1788, but we had to conform that intersection to their design for that Yukon and 1788. This one is a little more extensive because this is the first time I've seen them require acceleration, deceleration, left turn lanes, and that kind of stuff. So this is a little more involved. It will make it a much safer intersection than what they have any place at the landfill, at the Sunoco station, any place along 5 Points. This is a much safer situation, and I would make the motion that we approve the LOSA agreement and authorize the county judge to sign it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And I agree, safety is valuable. That's good. Item 50, discuss take action authorizing issuance of payment in full for properties located at 300 South Baird Street and 301 South Baird Street, Midland, Texas. I believe everybody should have everything from inspections to contracts to everything. We thought we'd be prepared to go to closing this Thursday. Am I right, Jenny? And I believe now they're wanting to schedule next Thursday. But we're wanting to get everything ready so that we could just go to closing and take possession or be the proud owners of those two properties.
So do we have to authorize your signing of these documents, or is that part of it? And the second part would be the payment of the remaining balance?
And we'll have to defer to Russell on all of that. At the time, was the offer the allowing of, well, I'm gonna let Russell speak.
I think, Commissioner, I think the motion would be to authorize the judge to sign all necessary documents and to pay the remaining amount owed on the two properties. Is the now does the amount that we have here, does that include all of the closing costs? Or do we need to approve a number higher than that in case there's any extra costs?
Just a point of clarification, Russell, in my opinion, we've already approved everything necessary at least twice. And I see Veronica shaking her head yes also.
Already approved the judge to sign all the paperwork and approve payment for this. I believe we had some more current information, and the judge and Jenny wanted to make sure all of you had that. But it might include some additional closing costs. So the court has approved that. We just wanted to let you know the most current information we had.
Have we approved where that money's coming from?
Yes,
I believe so. I think in the past, if I'm not mistaken, we were going to take the money out of the mental health facility to be able to cover it, because I think it was, well, I've got a number here in front of me, and I'm assuming it's for both properties put together.
Yeah.
Well, where did that number go? I thought I saw
1.17.
There you go. That's the number. My understanding is that we had agreed that we were going to take this money out of the mental health facility because we're going to have to wait one more year to be able to build that out. And so this is part of what we were trying to purchase.
That's correct.
Unless anybody remembers differently.
That's correct, Commissioner. That's where it's supposed to come out of.
Yep.
Can this just be an acknowledgement if we've already done? I just wanted to make sure we had everything done so the closing would take place. We wouldn't be holding up.
Veronica, did you say that the court had already approved the judge signing all necessary documents and paying the full amount?
Yes, sir. That is what happened previously, but if the court, I think this is more updated documents that were provided, and the judge and Jenny, I know, wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of what had been provided. And so, but the approval has already been done.
So you don't need any further action to issue a check, do you?
No, sir.
Okay.
So this is just an approval to issue payment in full. So I'll go ahead and make that motion. I'm just going to read what it says here.
Okay.
That we authorize the issuance of payment in full for the properties located at 300 South Baird Street and 301 South Main Street, Midland, Texas. and the money to come out of the mental health facility building.
Commissioner, can you also add associated closing costs?
Yes, sir, I can do that. And I would like to add all associated closing costs.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 51, Jenny, you've got a question mark on this one. Is this, I'm going to read it. Take action on submitted applications.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I had a question on it. I'm sorry, go ahead and read the item and all.
I'll read the item. Item number 51 is take action on submitted applications for permits to use county right-of-way for utility and line installations, driveway construction, and mailbox construction.
Yes, when I put those question marks on your agenda, Judge, at that, I didn't know how we were going to be handling permits. However, when I got in this morning, Ruben and Jessica had forwarded all the submitted permits needing approval to, I believe, Robin, who had a permits, and Commissioner Sanchez, who had
Right.
permits.
I had 4.
Okay, so if y'all are okay with approving them this way, I do have the originals on my desk.
Judge, do you want to call out each precinct?
Precinct 1,
0.
precinct 2,
6.
precinct 3,
4.
precinct 4.
Done, and I'll make a motion to approve all of those.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. And it's 10:57. Do I need to wait 3 minutes? Okay. Sheriff,
I'm here. I'm here.
sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, but we got to wait 3 minutes.
Okay.
Just,
Sorry about that.
was it just one item?
I've got,
Yes, 14.
No, I mean, one item that was an addendum. Go ahead.
He could start on his others.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna start on the others. Because it's just the addendum that needs to wait. Item 20.
that's the last one anyways, Judge.
Okay. Item 24, discuss take action on community relations sergeant for the sheriff's office.
This is what I discussed with each of you in the last couple of weeks. It's a position I feel is well needed for the agency. A couple of questions came up in our discussions, and I think you'll have a letter that I proposed to each one of you addressing those items. One was the salary. The other one was the caseload currently held by our CID personnel. I think this is a time in our society that we need to have this position in order to build those relationships with the communities in our county.
Sheriff, I do want to echo your comments. I think that this is a great idea. I think this is something that we really need to have within Midland County. So I definitely want to agree with your statement there. And I look forward to having this new person working for the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you.
Well, I stated this, I don't know, I think it was last year that because of what was going on with the possible downturn in the oil business and now, of course, the COVID crisis, that adding new personnel back then I wasn't real fond of. I'm definitely not fond of it at this point in time. Not to say it's not a good idea, not to say it's not needed. I just have a problem with adding, just continuing to add personnel on and on and on. So I wouldn't mind taking a look at it in a future time.
Commissioner, I agree with your statement. The thing is I think that this is something that we really need to have in Midland County. I'd like for us to be a little bit more proactive on how we handle some of these things. I've recently been at a lot of the meetings that the city of Midland has had in the past in regards to a similar person that they used to have. Of course, that person is now my constable, Larry Woodruff, who he's working in precinct 3 as a constable. The sheriff and I and the county judge have sat down with him and we've come up with a lot of different ideas. I think that this is something that is very imperative for Midland County to have. I understand wanting to wait, but I think this is something that we need to hit the ground running. I think it's something if there was any other position out there that we needed right now, this would be the position that is needed. And I just want to once again encourage everyone to really think about this person that we're trying to get here, just to be able to have that connection with the community.
Sheriff, can you go over again the duties that you're wanting to cover under this with this gentleman?
Yeah, it will be a liaison person as far as working with the kids in the community, the citizens of Midland County, as far as doing things at the churches, vacation Bible school type of stuff, Explorer Post, safety meetings with the public, just getting out there and being with the public to ask any questions they might have, and becoming that other face of our department in the county that represents us in that capacity. The organizing activities at National Night Out, Stranger Danger, helping with media updates, outreach to community members and leaders and businesses, with judicial agencies as well, just an all-around catch-all for our agency. Right now, we have a couple people that are filling those roles that are in CID personnel, but their workload, as you can see, they have had over 108,000 cases in the last 31 months, and each person works about 264 cases a month. They have no time to do this position for me at this time.
Sheriff, being titled Community Relations, would this also have public relations responsibilities to help alleviate, because I've been around you and the types of calls you're getting from the different media and stuff. Is this something you would pass some of that on to them to like do other things, or?
That would be on a case-by-case basis, Judge. It all depends on what the circumstances surrounding that investigation are.
Right, okay.
And what's the grade and step on this one?
It's a grade 20, step 1. Which is 359.22 cents, I believe. I can't read without my glasses.
No, sir. A 21 is 59, 359.22.
Yeah, my glasses, my contacts are fogging up. I'm sorry.
Sheriff, can you tell us how you came up with grade 20, step 1?
With the responsibilities, and I've visited with other agencies like DPS and the city, and this usually is held by a person with that type of seniority, like a staff sergeant position in those agencies. And we'd be copycatting them in that position.
And do you have it in your budget to cover it from now up until the end of this budget cycle?
I'm not sure. I have to get with Mitzi on that. I know that I've had some salary setbacks in the past with vacancies that we currently have. So there should be, in my estimation, be some salary money there to fulfill this position up to October 1st. Yes, sir.
So we won't have to transfer any salary money, right?
You have to get with Mitzi on that. I'm not real sure, Commissioner.
I don't know that at all. I sure don't. I know we had a couple of long-termers leave CID and admin, so I sure don't know that.
Well, again, I think this is a great idea. I think this community relations officer or sergeant is something that Midland County needs. Again, I'd like for us to be proactive. And with that, I would like to go ahead and make a motion that we this community relations sergeant for the sheriff's office effective immediately at a grade 20, step 1, and with the money coming out of salary contingency.
I'll second with the comment that from my discussion with David about the duties and performance of this office, I believe the intangible benefits will actually become very tangible over the next years because of the improved relationship and especially our young kids getting to know law enforcement from a very positive standpoint. I think, I hate, like Scott said, I hate to add anybody at this point in time, but if there was anybody that needed to be added, I would say this is one that would be yield great benefits for Midland, and that's why I will second.
David, can I ask a question? Did you
Yes, ma'am.
envision this person being under admin or under something else?
It'd be directly under, it'd be under admin. Report to me just like the IA guy does.
Sir.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, it's 4-1 and Scott votes against.
Thank you all.
You bet, thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a quick question? They didn't mention the amount. I think on the backup that the sheriff has provided to us, it says 13,500 is what's needed for the remainder of the year. The other thing that is requested in the backup that he has provided to us is a vehicle in the amount of $40,000 and the computer in the amount of $1,100, which was not mentioned.
Is there possibly a vehicle available? Christy, are you listening?
There are still units being turned in. We're just getting the first 4 of the SO vehicles coming in last week. So there are probably going to be units turned in. I don't know of any spares right now. And I don't know if any of those would be able to be used for this position. I know that admin does have money budgeted this year, but I think we've been in talks with All American Chevrolet into purchasing that vehicle. I don't know if that's already reserved for somebody else, though, a different position.
David?
I think that's already spoken for.
Okay.
You're requesting a vehicle estimated at 40,000 and the cost of a computer for 1,100. Sheriff, is that right?
Yes, it'd be a desktop computer for $1,100 and the vehicle we're estimating at 40,000. And they'll be shopping the basement on that vehicle.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and make a motion that we also add for this community relations sergeant, the purchase of a vehicle estimated at $40,000 and a computer estimated at $1,100.
Is that a good cost for the vehicle or?
Say that again?
Yes, ma'am. I believe so.
I just wanted to make sure that was sufficient.
That's my motion.
I will second, but I'd like to add something to that in discussion, that we hold off on purchasing the vehicle until we see if one of the 4 that's possibly being turned in would be used instead.
I would like to note that you didn't say where the funds were to come from. You mentioned how much, but not where they're coming from in your motion, Commissioner Sanchez.
Randy, you recommended that we wait. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, Luis, because
okay.
Did we just not hear that there's going to be 4 turned in shortly?
But I think the sheriff was saying that they're all spoken for, if I'm not mistaken, Sheriff?
I believe just a new one.
Yeah, just a new one, Commissioner. Just a new one in the admin budget. It's already been spoken for, but none of the turn-ins have been spoken for as of yet. I'm not sure what the policies were as far as keeping those cars in our fleet or how that works.
Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll retract my motion and I'll just wait and we'll see what happens with those other 4 vehicles. But the computer, I will make a motion for the cost of the computer of $1,100.
I'll second.
Out of contingency?
Out of contingency, yes.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion, or any opposed, same sign? Okay, it's 4-1 and Scott voted against.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
David, from your job description, is that exempt or non-exempt position?
Non-exempt. Is that right? I think that's correct, isn't that right?
Yes.
Currently, you're just your
Yeah, not
lieutenants and above are exempt, so.
Well, hang on just a second.
Yeah, not exempt.
David, I would think by definition, this guy needs to be exempt. But
Okay.
because of the hours and the various times and in my opinion, this won't fall into the non-exempt, but what do you think, guys?
I think
Depends it depends on his job description. I'm sure Liz could help you determine that.
yeah, it has to be determined by the IRS, not by us.
They're not supervising.
And we can take a
anybody,
look at
correct?
it. And see, we can see if it fits in within any of the exceptions, but as a general rule, it would the person would be non-exempt. We'll just have to see if it fits the exempt position.
Huh. Russell, or David, are there anybody else other than the sheriff in his department that are exempt?
Well, there are quite a few departments have exempt employees. The court had a study done 2 or 3 years ago, I believe, that looked at all positions and determined whether they should be exempt or non-exempt. We made some changes. And since then, 2 or 3 have come up. And we've taken a close look to see whether they met the strict requirements under the Fair Labor Standards Act. But the requirements are very strict. If you don't fit within one of the exceptions, then they have to be non-exempt.
Well, here's my thinking, David. The position will probably spend a whole lot of time after hours going to meetings that the public and or kids are available to go to. Is that a correct thinking?
Yes, sir.
So with that in mind, Russell, I mean, the hours won't be fixed. Is that one of the exemptions?
No, it doesn't matter how many hours they're working or when they're working. If this person is not, if we determine that this position is non-exempt, then he can adjust their work schedule so that they're
correct
working their 40 hours at a correct time.
Then I'm not worried about it. We can go ahead and do whatever David just recommended, Mitzi, which I believe was non-exempt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't have, that sounds good.
Okay, so we've completed that one, correct?
I think so.
Okay, item 25, discuss take action on JAG 2019 award funds in the amount of $11,614.
Yeah, this is a JAG grant that's given to us in the city. The city splits it up 60-40, and this is our 40% take of that grant. It's used for the SWAT team, for ammunition and practice purposes.
Motion to accept the JAG 2019 award funds in the amount of $11,614.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 26, discuss take action on budget amendment for the JAG 2019 funds award in the amount of $11,614.
And this is a new award requirement. It's a budget amendment must be created in order for the funds to be available for the spending.
I would make the motion that we approve the budget amendment for the JAG 2019 fund award.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 27, discuss take action on donation from MDSA Thin Blue Line Support LLC in the amount of $36,637.
Yes, this is MDSA, is the Midland Deputy Sheriff's Association. This was held for a golf tournament recently, and has provided funds were raised by companies and individuals to support the Sheriff's Office SWAT team.
Motion to approve accepting the donation of the MDSA Thin Blue Line Support in the amount of $36,637.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 28, discuss take action on the budget amendment for donation of $36,637.
I'll make that motion to amend the budget.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes
Thank you.
unanimously. Item 29, acknowledge monthly civil and warrants fee collection report.
You got a copy of that? That's just our monthly report for court, just addressing the monthly fees that were collected.
Motion to acknowledge the monthly civil and warrants fee collection report.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item number 30, discuss take action on donation from Deborah McCurdy in the amount of $500.
And this is brought to us by Ms. McCurdy, an appreciation for the sacrifices and services of the Midland County deputies. Citizens often feel compelled to give back, and that's what they're doing. And we appreciate it.
Motion to approve the donation from Deborah McCurdy in the amount of $500.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 31, discuss take action on budget amendment for donation of $500.
This is again that new rule requirement to make us an amendment so we can use the money to buy the spending of the funds for those vests.
Motion to approve.
Second.
To approve.
To
Do we
approve
need-
the budget line item.
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 32, discuss take action on budget amendment for anonymous donation to crisis intervention in the amount of $900.
A budget amendment must be created in order for funds to be available for spending. This is anonymous. We don't know who sent it to us, but we do appreciate it for the CIU unit upstairs.
Motion to approve the donation of $900 and the budget amendment for crisis intervention.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 33, discuss take action on donation from Jackie Swanson in the amount of $10,000.
This is from a friend of mine at church, Jackie Swanson. We've been a longtime friend since the mid-90s. He's donated $10,000, and it'll be deposited and dispersed as follows: $9,500 for an honor guard and $500 for CIU volunteer supplies.
Motion to approve to accept the donation from Jackie Swanson in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 34, discuss take action on budget amendment for donation of the amount of $10,000.
I guess I put the cart before the horse. We're going to use that money, like I said, for $9,500 of it for honor guard and $500 for CIU volunteer supplies.
I'll make that motion that we do a budget amendment for the donation in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 35, discuss take action correcting budget amendment for federal forfeiture funds received in fiscal year 2020 due to coding error.
Yeah, this is a code error brought to our attention by Veronica, and we fixed that, and that's just an amendment for 35 and 36 to fix that. It's just a correction only.
I believe they budgeted some funds into the donation account, and it should have been budgeted to the federal asset forfeiture account. And so this is that correction.
I would make the motion that we amend the budget for the federal forfeiture funds received in fiscal year 2020.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Discuss and take action correcting budget amounts for funds received in fiscal year 2020.
That's the same thing we did before. This has to be amended to accept it.
I would make the motion that we amend the budget with the corrections specified herein on the federal forfeiture funds.
I believe that, Robin, this is for all funds in fiscal year 2020. We just did the federal forfeiture, I believe.
Veronica, is it?
So part of that is that 7,338 correction that you had in the previous item that was discussed, agenda item discussed. That's 7,338. The other is they've made some interest income, and it's in the amount of 3,990. And so that is, they want to go ahead and amend the budget to include that interest income that was received, so they can go ahead and spend it. That is why there's a difference there between the previous correction and the amount requested.
Okay, so we would approve the budget amendment correction to include the $3,990 in interest payments and the $7,338 in the forfeiture funds.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Is that a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Seconded by,
Randy?
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Item 37, discuss take action on out-of-state travel for Sergeant Chris Evans and Sergeant Chet Thatcher to attend 6-hour P320 Armory class in Shawnee, Oklahoma on July 28, 2020.
Yeah, that's for the Army class, Judge. That's the only one that's close to Texas that we could find. This is, of course, pending COVID restrictions, if they can go or not. Once they attend this class, they can come back and teach fellow officers what they were taught in that classroom. It's like teach the teacher scenario.
David, before they go, I would sure suggest that we check the quarantine regulations for Oklahoma before we do that, because
Correct.
some states are making you quarantine for 14 days.
Right, we're going to be on top of that. We won't send anybody that's going to be quarantined for that many days. Make sure there's within the CDC guidelines as far as travel goes. The class may not even make. We just want to make sure if it does make, that we're able to send our people.
I'll make that motion that we approve the out-of-state travel for Chris Evans and Chet Thatcher for the 6-hour Armory class in Shawnee, Oklahoma on July 28th.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. And then the last item I have on for the sheriff is the addendum, and that's discussing.
Frank, you and Frank always get, you and Jay get mixed up. Okay, thank you.
Did I miss something?
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Item number 1, discuss take action on administrative leave for 3 employees of the sheriff's office.
Okay, if you're aware or not aware, we had an officer-involved shooting back on June 29th, and this is the 3 officers involved. And I granted them administrative leave effective immediately for the 3 days. That's protocol for this type of a situation and scenario.
I would make the motion.
I just have to make you, by the personnel policy, it says if it's going to be paid leave, you guys just need to approve it. That's the only reason it's coming to court.
Okay. I'd make the motion that we pay the 3-day leave for the 3 officers involved in the shooting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And unless there's any other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Judge, I have
Can I
one.
say thank you?
Before we do that, I would like to commend Russell Malm for getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning last week and taking a picture of the comet in the sky.
It's not agendized, but thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Motion to
Can I also say thank you to each one of you all. I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a happy Monday.
You bet, thanks.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. This meeting is now adjourned and it's 11:24. Thank y'all.